Thank you for all coming. This is a really important meeting, and it is no exaggeration to say that nationally and internationally we are at a critical moment with the far right. They are rising here, they're rising all over the world, but we have to remember and we have to look around to each other in this room that we are not powerless, and everybody here can make a difference. And throughout history, the working class movement has shown that when people come together in solidarity, we can win. And that is why building a mass movement like Stand Up to Racism to mobilise that power is so important. And we're all here because we believe in a better, fairer future for everyone. But like I said, belief isn't enough. We have to take collective action, whether that be disrupting a reform meeting, getting your friends to join Stand Up to Racism and taking part in events like this. We have to bring people on board from all across the political spectrum, and we have to unite our communities. History has taught us that when we do not confront these ideologies head on, they fester and they grow, which is why the points that Neil's made about the Labour Party's position is so important. And today is about learning, yes, but it's also about every single one of us committing ourselves to action in the struggle against the far right. And it really is important, whether that be disrupting reform meetings, mobilising on the streets to defend our communities against rioters. We have a lot of work to do, but it can be done. And in London, thousands of fascists march on our streets. And yes, their movement has seen a setback with more limited numbers on February the 1st. But we have to be clear, they are still growing and they still represent an existential threat to our very way of life, I believe. And it's not just them. We all know Reform are surging. Reform are now winning by-elections from the Labour Party and from the Conservatives across the country. And we will be, in the coming weeks, launching campaigns, ground campaigns, to limit the electoral influence of Reform in multiple areas across the country for the 2025 local elections. And that is really crucial because the more power they get, the more legitimacy they have, the more normalised their ideas become. But it has to be said, it's not just Reform that is fueling this issue. The Conservative Party, I mean, if they weren't already right-wing enough, they've shifted even further to the right and embraced the worst rhetoric and policies. And it has to be said that instead of challenging this political current, the Labour Party has set down the path of trying to outright the far right. And I'm ashamed that the party that I first joined at 15 years old and still, with some difficulty, remain a member of now, has sunk so low. And it seems like Keir Starmer would rather throw desperate people under the bus rather than standing up for marginalised people. They're even now saying that refugees who arrive by dangerous routes, people who have no alternative at all, will never be allowed to gain British citizenship. And got to say, the British icon Mo Farah, who Keir Starmer once described as an inspiration, would never have been allowed to become a British citizen under this government's legislation. So, for Labour Party members, we have to fight this direction in any way we can. And touching on the points that Neil said, I want to take the opportunity to thank Neil for coming and supporting this event, because it's not easy to do things like this in the Labour Party at the moment. And I believe that Neil was recently sent a letter by the government which said, "You're not entitled to criticise the government in public." Well, thanks to Neil, and to indeed any other MP who stands up for what's right and takes a stand on the issues that matter. And I hope we can support you to carry on with that. So we'll never make progress by parroting the far right. They don't have the solutions. They won't put power into the hands of working people. They only bring more destruction, more privatisation, and deliver more for the upper classes. So we have to make it clear to our communities, the far right does not have the answers to our problems. And this isn't just a British problem. Across the world, the far right is growing. Germany, Italy, Argentina, Brazil, you name it, the far right is growing. In the United States, of course, Donald Trump's second term has already unleashed an absolute slew of racist policies, from his sickening plan to ethnically cleanse Palestine, to sending migrants to the notorious Guantanamo Bay detention centre. And Elon Musk. Let's not forget about how his family made their personal fortunes from apartheid South Africa. So, the lesson in history is clear. The far right must be confronted, they must be exposed, and they must be defeated. So we have to build our local stand-up to racism groups. We have to come together with different parts of the community. We have to work hard to do this. And every single person in this room can make a difference in doing that. We need to counter their hate by getting organised. If they can do it, we can definitely do it too, because we have to remember we are still the majority. And we all have to do our bit in contributing to that. We have to give people hope, and we have to be the face of an alternative to this racist rhetoric in our communities. This isn't just about reacting, it's about building a better society. Fair wages, strong public services, better housing, genuine equality. These are the issues that the far right thrive on, and until we tackle those, they will always, always return. But we've done it before. We've pushed the far right back before. We've done it with the BNP, we've done it with the EDL, and we've limited Tommy Robinson's hate mobs. But the fight isn't over, and now more than ever, we need to be visible in our communities, we need to be organised, and crucially, as a movement, we need to be united. So yes, we do have history on our side, and every time the far right has risen, it's been met with resistance, and I do believe that resistance is getting stronger. So a better future isn't just possible, it is within our reach. But we all have to organise, mobilise in our communities to work to build it. So let's not leave here today thinking that the fight is lost, because it's our fight, it's our responsibility to build it, and it's our turn to make history. And it's something that we can and will do. If we stand together, if we organise, if we challenge them at every turn with no exceptions, we will win. And the great man Tony Benn once said, "Hope is the fuel of progress, and fear is the prison in which you put yourself." And those words still ring true today. We need to organise to build hope, because hope is powerful. And we're in a difficult situation, but when we come together and create that hope, we can win and we can be powerful. So let's stand together, fight together, organise together, win together. And yeah, thank you.